What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make crazy hyperpop melodies for Lil Uzi and TyFontaine. Just some really like tropical chill vibe. And as always, before we get started, make sure to go follow me on social media at inquires, Instagram and Twitter, all that. Tap in with me, but let's get it. So this is the melody that I'm going to break down for you guys. So yeah, you get the vibe. This kind of style is really popular right now. Alright, so the first thing that I actually started with is this piano pattern, and this is where most of the sauce spill in the video is going to be, because I'll just basically show you guys what you got to do to your chords to get that hyper pop feel, to like get that, the vibe. Alright, but this is what the piano pattern sounds like. Alright, so it sounds really complicated, but it's actually super simple chords. So the chords go from basically F. Alright, so that melody sounds really complicated, but it's actually pretty simple because it just goes from F major to G minor to D minor and then C. And then the second time around, I actually did F major, G minor, and then C, and then B. Or B flat major. Alright, so that's the first key to these kind of beats, is that chord progression is very simple, but the trick is you want to make the chord progression like consecutive chords. So in this case, I'm going from F to G, and then I'm skipping to D, and then F. So this kind of chord progression trick is really popular in pop music. That's why these kind of melodies are coming back. It's because like it's these kind of melodies have been all over the place, in the 2010s and like 2000s with like a bunch of pop music. So what I did is I actually inverted the chord, so I played it like this. So yeah, you get a really poppy feel like that, because so basically I can have a really cool chord if I just play my root and then my third like that. But essentially I'm just bringing my third up an octave, so it's just sounding like this, and I'm also adding the other notes of the chord. So that's the first thing. It's just you want to do consecutive chords like next to each other. And then the second thing is that, as you can see, my second consecutive chord is actually just like a transition chord to my next chord. So it's actually on an upbeat over here. So my second chord, my G minor, is on an upbeat over here. So you can hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it lands on an and. That's because, it gives it a really cool bounce if you make it a transition chord instead of making it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I'm saying? I made it like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so just offset them. So just something like that to offset it, to just make these transition chords. So then the final thing I did with the chords is just kind of arpeggiate them with the other notes in the chord, just to kind of give it a cool melody. So like this. So this is what the final product sounds like. So yeah, that was the foundation of it. As long as you have simple chords that sound happy, and you get that sauce in there, you'll be good to go. That's the main foundation of the beat. Then next what I did is I layered it with a marimba, because the original was an electric piano that didn't really have a punch, so I wanted to add a note with more attack, And yeah, with the piano, this is what it sounds like. It's definitely a really cool layer because it adds a lot of punch to the melody. So then next what I did is I just copied the whole chord progression from the piano into this pad, just to kind of make it a little bit more smooth. So this is what that sounds like. So this is just basically to make it a little bit more smooth, more in the background. And I actually layered that with the marimba again, and I added this cool lead. So this is what the lead sounds like. So you just kind of want to make it sound like dreamy, really like in outer space, or just kind of tropical. But then I added a bunch of effects such as Portal just to give it a little bit more atmosphere, and then Valhalla vintage verb. And then in the second part of the melody, I just took it down an octave just to add a little bit more variation to it. So yeah, I mean, the melody is really simple. You just gotta pick a cool lead sound and kind of make it like flow with the chords, you know. And if you're actually struggling making cool chords with colors and stuff, I actually have a video on that. I'll link it right now if you wanna go check it out. I think it'll be helpful. But yeah, so as you can see, the way I arranged this melody so far is just kind of have like different sections. So when I send this out to people, they can cook up with it and, you know, like have different sections to work with when they arrange it. But then the last thing I actually added to this beat was just these vocal chops. You can't really have like a hyperpop without like vocal chops. I feel like that's like a really authentic feel. But for the vocal chops, I used Exhale, and this is what the vocal chops sound like. I just exported them because I don't want them to take up too much CPU. And with the piano, this is what it sounds like. And for the processing of these, I just basically did a lot of echo and reverb and some pancake just to kind of make it more stereo separated and like kind of pan around your ears to give it like a cool effect. And another thing I want to talk about real quickly is like if you don't have Exhale or Arcade for like cool vocal chops, you can actually use your voice and record your voice. I actually did a video on how to make your own vocal chops, so if you want to go check that out, I'll link it right now. It's a pretty cool way to make your own vocal chops that are both unique and, you know, like free, because you don't have to rely on external plugins. And if you're wondering what these automation clips are for, I just used Footy Balance to I just use this to mute the vocal chops, you know, right here, so it doesn't bleed into this next section when someone actually does chop it up to arrange it. So I did that, for example, with the lead over here. I didn't want the echo to bleed into this section, so I just made this automation clip, and this is what that does. If I don't have that, you know, I move it around, this is what will happen. As you can hear, there is some decay over there, which will kind of bleed into this section. I didn't want that, so I just did this just to make the sections like independent of each other. And if you want to learn how to do this trick more in depth, that's one of the melody tips that I discussed in my video recently, just talking about some melody mistakes that most people make that make their melodies trash. So if you want to learn how to avoid those 5 mistakes, actually check out that video. I'll link it right now. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. I'll play you guys the full melody in a second, but if you guys thought this video was helpful, please give it a like and comment below what you thought of it, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.